Now, when it comes to Drake, aka Courtside Karen Cupcake, Stranger Things binging, lawsuit loving Drake, I'm not even wasting time with an intro today. What just went down between him and Bobby Altoff left me speechless. So hit that like button and subscribe because, trust me, we're gonna need every bit of support for this breakdown. Let's get straight into it because the audio these two dropped, over an hour long and straight up grime. I swear, it's not just a waste of time, it's one of the biggest wastes of time you could ever put your ears through. Drake thought he pulled a master move on the rap world by giving Bobby an interview instead of a real journalist, a true personality, or even someone with half a brain. That's how embarrassingly low the bar has dropped, and the whole thing spiraled fast. And don't worry, I'm about to lay out every single thing you need to know about this interview, what it means for Drake, who he was trying to throw shots at, and what this circus could mean for rap culture and journalism moving forward. Because let me tell you, this was a painful listen. The only reason I even hit play was because I was grinding 2K, trying to level up my player, and I just needed background noise. Big mistake. But before we dig deeper, I want you to think about this one thing. The best way to sum up this whole hour-long disaster comes from none other than Justin Hunt. He didn't hold back when he dropped this gem into the world and said this. Yes, you read that right. Drake was really out here talking about milk in this interview. Milk. And the wild part is, this man is facing the most contested moment of his entire career, yet he's sitting across from Bobby Altoff, who, let's be real, looks like the exact Karen he secretly wishes he could be, chatting about dairy like it's breaking news. Now, I'm not gonna break my back ranting about what this circus means for hip-hop journalism. I'll leave that to Elliott Wilson. But keep this detail in your mind because, trust me, it's going to matter later. See? Everyone's panicking about this interview, but the whole point of a sit-down is supposed to be simple. Two people exchange real information, something meaningful, something that tells us who they are or what they're working on. Instead, what we got was an actor-turned-rapper who's been cosplaying a character for 15 plus years. Last time Drake sat down with actual hip-hop journalists, Elliott Wilson and B. Miller, he swore up and down that he studies rap battles for a living. Fast forward to now, and look where we're at. Honestly, how can anyone still take his words seriously when lying has been his trademark move? And let me not forget, beyond the milk talk, beyond Drake even discussing his own cup size, yes, that really happened, there was one part that actually stood out. He tried to diss the entire culture of music journalism and hip-hop media, basically saying this new wave of streamers and fake cool interviews is the future. That's where his head's at right now, and that's the part we really need to pay attention to. The line that really jumped out at me was when Drake said, "The goal is not to be an unattainable D-head your whole life and only speak to Zane Lowe," while he asked the curated questions. Instead, he claimed it's better to hang out with streamers like XQC or Adin Ross. That's where Drake thinks the real value is now. And let's be real, from a logic and manipulation standpoint, if we're actually going to give him credit for what he said, then he's straight up telling us that moments like the one he staged with Bobby are better than ever sitting down with Joe Budden, Charlemagne, or Elliott Wilson. That's his own words. So if this is the real Drake, the unfiltered one, then apparently his truth isn't about studying rap battles like he once bragged. It's about studying milk. I can't even twist that into a joke, it's just flat out bizarre. And as the interview dragged on, it became even clearer. Drake wasn't just revealing his obsession with dairy products. He was revealing himself. With every sentence, every ramble, every weird thought, he kept circling back to one thing: Kendrick Lamar. Somehow, no matter what tangent he went on, it always tied back to Kendrick's shadow and the impact of Not Like Us. It's like Kendrick lives rent-free in his mind, and Drake can't even do an interview without his presence hovering over it. When you sit through this interview and actually listen to Drake ramble for over an hour, it all circles back to the same vibe. He sounds like a bitter ex who just can't accept the breakup. He keeps bringing up the person he's obsessed with while the other guy, Kendrick Lamar, is out there thriving and moving on. It's almost painful to hear how stuck he is. And I'm not exaggerating. This has never been worse. When Drake isn't talking about milk, cups, or whatever other nonsense spills out of this audio mess, he's flat out fantasizing about Kendrick. Yes, fantasizing. That's how wild it gets. Every single thought, every tangent somehow twists back to Kendrick. It's not fans making the connection anymore. It's Drake himself. He even called himself Eurotrash, which only made Kendrick's old bars hit even harder. When you think back to Kendrick's line on Wesley's theory about washed out murals and fake personas, it's like he saw this whole meltdown coming years ago. Kendrick's pen aged like fine wine, while Drake's words sound more like spoiled leftovers. And just when you think it couldn't get more embarrassing, Drake tried to fight back. He tossed out 2 big disses aimed directly at Kendrick. It took every ounce of fake courage he could muster, because deep down you can hear the fear in his voice. For a man trying so hard to act unbothered, he couldn't be more obsessed. Drake never dropped Kendrick's name, but everyone knew exactly who he was aiming at. And his first move, he started rambling about how he's finally gonna make his grand return to LA, promising shows in the US after hiding out in Europe for months. He tried to play it off like he's not scared, claiming LA doesn't intimidate him no matter what warnings or messages have been sent his way. But here's the catch. While the words coming out of his mouth were all about bravery, his whole demeanor told another story. You could see it in his face. He wanted us to believe he's some fearless tough guy, but deep down, everyone knows he's courtside Karen at heart, and the way Kendrick rattled him, that shook is permanent. The funniest moment, though, came when Drake explained why his first interview with Bobby mysteriously vanished after being uploaded. Bobby's theory was that UMG pulled it down because a Tyga track played in the background for a few seconds. But Drake, he used that as an excuse to go off on a rant about labels, hinting that there's some conspiracy tied to Not Like Us and why he lost the beef. Of course, none of it makes sense. It's pure delusion. Drake is out here building wild theories, presenting them like gospel, and his loyal stans are eating it up like it's the truth. Instead of moving on, he's doubled down on chaos, pushing the same paranoid stories over and over again. Drake tried to laugh it all off, but the man actually claimed labels are playing secret games, boosting certain records, burying others, all behind his back. According to him, there's some shadow industry war happening that even he can't control, and honestly, I zoned out during parts of this while playing 2K because half the stuff he said wasn't even worth remembering. But let's break it down. If Drake's mission was to show us the real him, then mission accomplished, because the guy who showed up as a 40-year-old acting like he's 19, asking women bizarre questions about milk, fantasizing about scenarios that make zero sense, and keeping Kendrick Lamar on his mind 24/7, that's who he is, plain and simple. And if this was the vibe Drake and Bobby wanted to create, congrats, they nailed it. They crafted the image of a man spiraling deeper into obsession and self-delusion. But if Drake thought this stunt would make him seem fun, cool, or relatable to anyone outside his bubble of diehard fans, he miscalculated big time. Instead, he dragged his name, his brand, and his reputation even lower than before, like his own personal stock crash. What makes it even worse is the timing. Right now, hip-hop is in a golden run of interviews, real engaging conversations on platforms like Joe Budden's show with Whale, JID, and The Clips, or Elliott Wilson sitting down with The Clips in one of the sharpest talks of the year. While others are elevating the culture with substance, Drake is out here turning interviews into circus acts. Right now, there are so many dope conversations happening in hip-hop, real talks between artists and people who actually know the culture. But when it comes to Drake, we already know the truth. He doesn't study rap battles, he doesn't prepare scripts for meaningful interviews, and he's too scared to sit down with real journalists who might pull back the mask and show us who he really is. So what does he do instead? He runs to people like Bobby Altoff, chasing this fake performative act that makes him look less like a rapper and more like Logan Paul 2.0. He wants clout, clicks, and viral sound bites, not respect. And it shows, because no matter how hard he tries, he'll never be Kendrick Lamar, never be in the same league as the greats he once claimed to idolize. Pac, Biggie, or anyone in that echelon. At this point, Drake has been shut out from every corner of hip-hop that matters, and instead of fighting to earn his place back, he's leaning into being a grifter. And if that's the image he wants us to take away, that he's a 40-year-old TikTok rapper cosplaying as a cultural commentator, then fine. Mission accomplished. Drake, if this is really who you want to be remembered as, you're about to have a run, but not the kind you think. Because let's be real, Drake has gone from being seen as a rap heavyweight to looking like a YouTube prankster desperate for clicks. The same man who once bragged about studying the game is now sitting in interviews asking about milk, dodging LA rumors, and throwing half-baked shots at Kendrick Lamar like a nervous kid mumbling in the back of class. And the craziest part? He thinks this makes him look authentic. Instead, it makes him look paranoid, insecure, and trapped in his own echo chamber where only his most loyal stans clap along. Everyone else? They see the cracks in the image, the fear in his voice, and the obsession with Kendrick that he just can't shake. Drake wanted to show the real him, but if this is it, then it's not the smooth operator he sells in his songs. It's a man unraveling in real time, and the whole world is watching. Now I can't wait to hear what you all have to say about this mess. Drake thought he was showing the world his real side, but what he really exposed was paranoia, insecurity, and an obsession with Kendrick that he just can't escape. If this is the new Drake era, then it's less rap legend and more internet sideshow, and that's the legacy he's choosing to write. So if you made it this far, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this with somebody who needs to see how wild this all really is. And don't go anywhere. Check out the next video because Drake's chaos isn't slowing down anytime soon. Man, what do you think about this absolutely horrendous interview Drake just did? And what about him still throwing shade at Kendrick Lamar while drowning in all this other clown behavior surrounding him? I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this one. If you made it all the way here, then you already know what to do. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and share this video because it helps me out a ton. And if you want even more chaos, don't miss what went down right before this, because Young Thug just managed to torch his own career by dissing Kendrick Lamar and saying some wild things that blew up in his face. Check out the suggested video, and I'll see you on the next one.